The Oregon Ducks found their quarterback. So after losing Dante Moore to UCLA, as we highlighted earlier, they have Austin Novosad flipped from Baylor over to Oregon, and the Ducks have their quarterback of the 23 class. We're going to break it down here on the channel, go over the outlook, his strengths, his weaknesses, look at some tape from his huddle, and get into what this means for the Oregon Ducks and their coaching staff. All right, let's jump into it, man. Recruiting is so much fun. I mean, it depends on what team you're rooting for if you get flipped, but we've seen a lot of big time flips and we've seen some quarterback flips. And so what we're going to be looking at is hey, what is Lanning and the crew doing out there in Eugene, and how are they kind of weathering this Dante Moore flip here? So let's talk about Austin and what he does. So he commits to Oregon. And he coming in with a great class. Oregon is actually crushing the recruiting class right now. So if you're an Oregon fan, if you're a Duck fan out there, you should be excited for what they're doing. Definitely, flipping the defensive side of the ball, getting a lot of different guys. They have 5-star safety flip to Peyton Bowen. All these different things that is happening today. You should be excited. So let's talk about Austin and what he is. So let's look at his high school tape or his career and what he is. So 6'3", 185 kid. So obviously we're going to talk about some things that he can work on, but he's got a big frame, pocket passer. Right now he's the QB9 of this class, 4-star kid, according to 247 Sports. And up until literally yesterday, probably last night, he was going to Baylor. And it looked like this with Dante Moore going to Oregon, but then he flipped, right? And if you look at his numbers, he started for 3 full years. So mature, right? When we're thinking of like who he is as a prospect. So you're looking at the numbers there, 2,800 yards his sophomore year, his junior year, 3,300, almost 3,400. And then this senior year, 2,900. And you love his touchdown interception ratio with what he was able to do. But I think one big thing too, when you're looking at like him moving forward, he averaged about 275 yards passing per game across those contests. So when you're looking at that, he's that producer, right? He's done that as a senior this year. He's 12-2 record. He led his team to the Texas 6A state quarterfinals. But when you're looking at that, he played in the 6A. So when you're looking at projections of like these quarterbacks, that's what you look for. Like, hey, there are a lot of kids from Arizona, these other places that don't play that top competition, get to college and they struggle. Austin played in that top competition in Texas, and that's what you're looking for, right? I just use Arizona as an example because of Thompson, these other guys there. So you really got to look at the competition and where they're coming from. So you have to give them a shout out for what he was able to do, right? When you're talking about where he was at, what division he played in. Now, let's go through the things that he does well. So let's kind of highlight some things when you're watching it. We're going to obviously watch it on tape, but things that, hey, you really like. So first of all, his ball placement is excellent. Like when you watch him play, especially at that short intermediate range, when he's really pushing the ball to the numbers, I think he thinks the game very well. And again, this is always hard with quarterback prospects. We don't always know what's going on in between the eyes, but when you're watching him, it seems like he's under control. Like he runs that offense very well. And it looks completely like he's in it. He looks like he checks a lot. It's not that first read stuff that you sometimes see in college or in high school. It's not like that. So you like that, like his placement. You see it throughout the film. So what I did is I watched his sophomore, junior, and senior year highlights, and you could tell he got more comfortable. He understood the offenses. Those are all things that you like to see as an Oregon fan. Maturity always stands out to me too. I think that's part of the ball placement, able to know when to give it some touch, when to get it to zip. What does that look like? And the maturity angle was like, hey, he played pretty, 3 full contests. We talk about this, when we get into just, projecting these guys, especially the NFL, we talk about, hey, reps. He has them, right? He's not that one guy that just comes out of senior year, balls out, gets these scholarships, and then struggles a little bit. Like he's going to come in ready to go. I do think that when you're looking at, he's going to a good scenario when we're going to talk about with Bo Nix coming back, he can kind of sit and learn and do those things, but he has that maturity. He can step up and just be there and be ready to go. And he has the reps, right? And those reps are where you're looking at. And I think I wanted to highlight his accuracy. Like his accuracy is legitimately very good. Like when you're looking at how he can get the ball to it, there wasn't a lot of off throws when I watched it. Like he got the ball where he wanted, maybe not at the level that he wanted or the zip that he wanted, but he definitely gets it there when he's talking about just where he wants to go with it. So I like that. Like I think that he has good physical upside as well. We're going to talk about what he can work on there. But overall, these 3 things really stood out to me watching this film, going through it, seeing the high school tape, seeing that 6A competition, ball placement, maturity, and accuracy. Like those 3 things is just is there. And accuracy and ball placement a little different. Like accuracy, he consistently hit his numbers. Ball placement, he puts it where he wants it to go. And when you're seeing it, like, and you're going to see a little bit on the tape, throwing it up to the corner of the end zone, hitting the numbers, those type of things, like little things like that, they matter. Now, as far as things that he could work on, and again, remember, young prospect, we're not here to like just shout out things that he's bad at, because that's not the case. These kids are all amazing. He's an Elite 11 finalist. He does those things. But strength, I think one thing he's going to have to do, he's going to get in that weight room in Oregon. And as someone who's been there, it's amazing. And put on some weight. 185, obviously, we're going to have to get that strength up. And I think with that is going to come velocity. There's going to be times that I'm going to highlight that I don't think he gets it there as fast as he needs to. I think that he throws it up, and you're going to see kind of level of talent maybe, or whatever the case may be on the defensive side. They don't make him pay for some of the throws that he gets away with. So I do think that he's going to have to learn and get stronger to where he gets that velocity and gets it to his players, especially playing in the Pac-12, those defenses, when you're looking at the numbers going to Oregon State, all these different Utah, these teams he's going to have to beat. USC is doing very well in the portal right now and recruiting, getting defensive side. So he's going to have to learn how to get that velocity up. I think velocity and strength is something he's going to definitely work on. Athleticism definitely is not necessarily his forte. I will say, what get talked about, he does have a pretty good profile in terms of his track and everything there, but it's just as far as like extending plays, doing the things on the ground, comparing him to Dante Moore, because he's going to get compared to him. I don't think athletically he's that extender of the pocket. He's not going to go out there and be that rushing upside guy. But again, not necessarily what they recruited him for when we're talking about his recruitment, where he comes from. Now, let's just pop on the tape and let's just take a look and see a little bit from his high school tape. So you'll see it here. I mean, he's got that arm, able to get it to the numbers where it's at, right? So you'll have that. Now, most of his big-time throws are going to be coming from, where we just saw. And again, right here, get to the numbers, great. I mean, that the defender didn't really give him a lot of, give him a little leeway there. Not a lot of bump coverage in high school. Again, kind of stands in the pocket. I will say his poise in the pocket definitely is highlighted. So watching him play here under stress and under pressure, he does not get, he does not get rattled very easily. He's able to move around enough. I'm not saying it's there. Now, here's another one. Just goes up, throws it up. He has the accuracy there. Now, will these type of throws be intercepted at the next level? So here's another one right here. I like this throw. It's to the number. It's perfect. But is that enough velocity to get it there where defenses aren't going to take advantage of it, right? Now, the one other highlight, again, like I was just mentioning, his pocket presence, like standing in that pocket, steps up in the pocket pretty well, has it. And then, hey, he got a little run in him. Like, we're not talking about, 40-yard dash being a 4.5, 4.6 range, but he can have some functional athleticism and get it there. You'll see it here again, kind of lofts it up, does those things. Like, he's going to have to work on that strength and velocity at the next level, which he will. Like, he's going to get there. I also thought I really liked what he did when I was watching the tape too. As he kind of plays and throws and gets into the rhythm, he takes what the defense gives him. And you'll notice that, like underneath routes, out routes, he kind of works through his progressions. And I think that's another thing about his poise that he has and that kind of progressions is he works through them. Like, and that's another thing we were talking about between the eyes. Like, he knows where his guys are. He obviously knew that was going to be his read there, but he knows he works through that progressions. He steps up in the pocket, knows where the mismatches are, able to get it to his guys. That's probably one of his best throws right there that you just saw if you wanted to pause it. But again, I like that. Now, his offensive line did a good job of protecting him. You saw that. He's got a lot of clean pockets. So then projecting forward, what is that going to look like at Oregon? Are they going to have those clean pockets to be able to set him up? How are they going to get it there? It does look like as he tries to throw, sometimes he's got to really power up to get it there. And I think that's the strength number, right? That's the strength number we're going to talk about. But he can dial it in. He's there. He's a very solid prospect. And we're thinking about who was going after him. I mean, pretty much everybody was going after him in terms of like, Baylor was there. Texas A&M was there. Ohio State was in on him too. Like, so when we're thinking of this, Oregon got a legitimate quarterback prospect in this class. And that's good for Oregon considering they lost our guy, Dante Moore. Now, let's talk about the outlook. So when you're looking at just this, first of all, I think this is perfect for Oregon and him because Bo Nix is coming back. And we know Bo had Heisman calendar numbers until he got hurt. Had he kind of won a couple of those games down the stretch, he might have been in that category where he got voted for it. But when we're talking about him, he's coming back for a year. This is going to give Austin time to just, develop. I think he's going to get that strength. He's going to go there. He's not going to look to start right away, which is something I thought Dante probably wanted. So this is good. I mean, they get a quarterback that's going to be there. And then he's right in there. And then also, I think, one underrated hire this year was them hiring UTSA's Will Stein as offensive coordinator. Will UTSA, averaged 38 points on their season when you're looking at that. And when you look at Frank Harris really developed in Stein's system. He averaged 300 yards per game, 71% of his passing was in there. And the receivers is, I think, something that Stein definitely developed when he was there. So we're thinking of like Seafisk, Dorian Clark, Franklin, all those guys. They combined for over 204 passes, 2,500 yards, and 25 touchdowns. And I think when you're looking at that, that's the key. Will Stein is going to be able to kind of really coach Austin up, do those type of things. And I think that's the value. And I think Oregon fans should be excited about their hire. I know they lost Dillingham to Arizona State, but Stein is going to be in there, be able to kind of really push for that. So, I really like that for Austin. And then just coming in, I think he's going to be in an open quarterback battle after that, right? So we're thinking of the depth chart and where they're at in terms of this room. This is really, Lanning's really, this is his quarterback he picked, is really the first one in terms of like, hey, not a transfer guy like we saw with Bo. We know Ty Thompson there, but Ty Thompson has failed to kind of win that job. We saw him come in a little bit, but again, we haven't seen that. So he's going to be in that quarterback competition if Ty stays. And I think there's a question mark there, but I think this is a great get for Oregon. They should be excited. Austin picked a good spot for himself in terms of what he wants to do, is protect himself for the NFL or just in college football in general. So shout out to Ducks fans out there. You guys really got a good one. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button. Ducks fans, what do you think? Are you excited about this? Are you over the more flip, or how do you feel about that as well? Give us that like and subscribe button. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if there's any other players you want us to highlight as we move forward. But shout out to Oregon. You guys are crushing the portal, and you're crushing recruiting right now. Excellent job by your coaching staff out there. The Ducks are going to be fun to watch.